Will the Charlotte housing market crash in 2024?
Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Jimmy here with Realty One Group Revolution and the CLT Life, a licensed realtor in the greater Charlotte area, helping buyers and sellers throughout the Carolinas and North and South Carolina. The big question, it's the end of the year, it's mid December. The Fed just came out with their announcement on interest rates hikes, saying that they're going to remain flat um, throughout this turn. And the big question that I'm reading everybody, post all these articles about, and all the talking heads are talking about, is will we have a housing crash in 2024? So I'm going to talk about the Charlotte area market because that's the market that I know. And I'll say right off the bat that no, we're not going to have a housing market crash in 2024. Now, we've got to define what a housing market crash means. Generally speaking, a housing market crash means that home values are going to plummet, 20% year over year. So to say that home values are going to go down 20% is farcical, in my opinion. And honestly, to say that home values are going to go down at all this year, I think is probably going to be inaccurate. Though it could happen, in some pockets in and around the Charlotte area. So let's go back and talk, historically, housing markets crashed real briefly first. So in 2008, 2009, a lot of you people remember, home values plummeted as foreclosures were just going going down left and right. There were so many people who shouldn't have been approved for mortgage loans in the first place. They couldn't afford their homes. They ended up losing their homes. People were walking away from homes, and that really devalued the housing market. Um, Fortunately, there were a lot of financing regulations that came out of that and made it more difficult to get financing to purchase a loan. You have to jump through a lot more hoops now and prove your income. That hasn't happened since, and hopefully, it doesn't happen um, to that extent. Um, so in 08, 09, we had home values plummeting as foreclosures rose. In 2020, mid 2020 to mid 22, we had the opposite happen, where home values actually exploded with the influx of stimulus money and interest rates that had everyone wanting to buy a home. So here we were in the height of the pandemic. People were working from home more often. It was the start of the work from home, which has evolved for a lot of people. It stayed work from home, or evolved into hybrid work, where you go in the office or you stay home. And people were really valuing, certain aspects of their home. They're finding out that their homes that they were currently in didn't work, and there was something else, or didn't work for them, and there was something else that they were looking for. Money was cheap. Um, the economy was propped up by all the stimulus money as well. Home values went up, and finally, around October of last year, late September, early October of last year, interest rates went from being in the threes and then slowly creeping up back in the fours and fives. Very quickly, interest rates went over 6%, and for a lot of people, they pushed the brakes and decided not to get in the housing market. So that was really the end of the big run up, where there were so many multiple offer situations that were pushing up the value of a home. You might have a home that was listed for sale for $400,000, and people were outbidding each other and end up listing for 400, and you sold it for 450. Well, by and large, that's now a thing of the past. Um, we're not seeing nearly as many. Every now and then, if a hot house comes on the market and there's nothing else available, and it's priced right and in really good condition, you might get some competition over that home. That does still happen, but nothing like what we were seeing during the pandemic. Um, so since late 2022 to through 2023, interest rates went up, which historically speaking, if you go back to the 70s and 80s, the sixes and sevens are not super high interest rates, but for what we've experienced in the 21st century, the first quarter of the 21st century, these are the highest interest rates that we've had so far. And that ended up leading to the fewest real estate sales transactions locally in the Charlotte area since 2016, and I believe nationally, going back to the housing market um, decline. But there was no drop in home values because inventory remained low and demand wasn't quite as high as it had been, but demand pretty much stayed in line with the inventory that was available. So now here we are heading into 2024, and based on November numbers in the Charlotte area, inventory is up about 2% year over year, even though closed sales are down about 20% because there just haven't been as many sales. But we finally, for the first time of the year, had more inventory at this time of the year than we had at the same time last year. And interest rates have already dropped nearly a point since cresting over 8% back in October. The average 30-year fix now is right around 7% in December of 2023. And a lot of what I'm reading and seeing, has projections of us being anywhere from the high to mid sixes, at the end of next year, all the way down to the low sixes to high fives at the end of 2024. I'm going to hedge my bet somewhere in the middle and say we'll probably be around the mid sixes, will probably be an average um, interest rate for 2024, which is a lot better than we had in 2023. And then in 2025, I think we'll finally get back down, into the fives. So unlike 0809, home values are certainly not plummeting, and the outlook for more inventory is starting to look good now, with moderate rate improvement through the spring and summer of 2024. So, barring an unforeseen domestic catastrophe or a global catastrophe, and we've seen that we've got two wars going on right now, and unless we're dragged into it, doesn't seem to be impacting our economy in a negative way. Um, so I don't expect home values to go gangbusters, but I would not be surprised to see a modest gain in home values in 2024. And I think we're looking at probably a 15% plus or minus increase in the number of transactions taking place in 2024, and a good chance that could be with fewer realtors. As a lot of people, it'll be interesting to see when dues renewals come up at the end of January, how many people are going to stay in the residential real estate market versus getting out and maybe doing something else. So all that said, if you've been sitting on the sidelines at a home which no longer serves you, if you're tied to your house by the golden handcuffs of your 3% interest rate, um, or if you're just simply wondering, like, hey, if I sell, where am I going to go next? Let's talk and figure it out. Figure out if 2024 is a year for you to make a move, or if it's not you, maybe it's your loved ones. Maybe it's your parents or your children or a friend or somebody else who's been thinking about making a move for a while and has just been holding back. So we'd love to have those conversations with you. I'm a no pressure type of guy where I'm going to give it to you straight, give you my opinion, and help you get to where it is that you want to be. So look forward to hearing from you. Thanks so much for watching this video. This is my prediction. You can play it back to me next year and tell me I was wrong, or maybe I'll be right. We'll never know. We'll see you on a future video. Thanks for watching. Take care.
Thanks for watching.